I'm a king of the bits, they never seen this before. Woo! I gotta give them the script, yeah, I gotta leave them in awe. You know who they call when it's evil involved. I'm right in the store, the bigger they fall. Feeling like I've been defeating the odds ever since I put my knees on the floor. Born sinner with a key to the door. My city got an evil galore. My city never leave with the law, so my city got me ready for what? Hey! We ready for anything coming our way, let's settle the score. Foot in the door, don't rattle the board. Hands up like we asking for more. We're ready, let's go. Time is a goal, that's where my mind is. I got my both eyes on the goal, that's where you find it. We're ready at all time, it's a goal, that's where my mind is. I got my both eyes on the goal, that's where you find it. We ready at all time, it's a goal, it's time that we ride. I got my both eyes on the goal, I'm turning the tide. We ready at all time, it's a goal, it's time that we ride. I got my both eyes on the goal, I'm turning the tide. We ready at all time, it's a goal, it's time that we ride. I got my both eyes on the goal, I'm turning the tide. We ready at all time, it's a goal, it's time that we ride. I got my both eyes on the goal, I'm turning the tide.
to keeping up with the Joneses. Everything is kind of trouble and purpose. And you're lying in a bed of roses. I never dreamed of getting in the action. Life moves with all the surprises. I never tap with chemical reaction. It comes down to this. You're gonna be a tough act to follow. And you better believe it. Just take a bite and see that it's gonna be too much to swallow. You better believe it. Yeah, I got one more trick, but you're gonna be a tough act to follow. To follow. You're gonna be a tough act to follow. To follow. Oh, I feel I like the way I got up from the start. I was under pressure. I feel I got away. It comes down to this. Yeah, you're gonna be a tough act to follow. And you better believe it. Just take a bite and see that it's gonna be too much to swallow. You better believe it. Yeah, I got one more trick, but you're gonna be a tough act to follow. To follow. To follow. Yeah, you're gonna be a tough act to follow. To follow. You're gonna be. Ooh.
I know I should have done this, should have quit this long ago. Can't stand another heartbreak, but it's time to let it go.
Yo! I cannot hear you, Patrick. You muted yourself.
Dang it, mute button. Dang it, mute button.
You know you can be unmuted during the countdown because your audio won't go out because I muted on my end, right? That's technology, buddy. Technology. Oh, welcome everyone. Oh, happy days. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday, everyone. Oh, how you doing, Patrick? How you
I'm
doing?
good, man. I'm actually pretty great. Pretty
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Am I
It's,
coming in clear? Can you hear me?
Yeah, your volume's a little low. I don't know. I don't know what you did. Every time it's that way.
I don't know.
There you
I
go.
don't
That's
know.
better.
What about
That's
now?
better. You did
All right.
something.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay. Yep.
oh, look at that. Lucas said he stayed up late enough to watch one of these live. Welcome. Love it. Yeah, it's better now. Patrick.
Okay.
Still got your
Cool,
super
cool.
computer fan in the background, but it's all good. We'll deal with that.
Yeah. I don't know how to deal with that.
So lots of questions about or a lot of comments around the conferences coming up, man.
Yeah, man.
yeah.
I'm excited.
I'm excited too.
I'm excited.
It's gonna be nice. So first off, welcome everyone to the live stream. Glad you could make it this Saturday morning. We're happy to have you. Always love seeing all the chat before the countdown or during the countdown and whatnot. It's been fabulous. So if you are new to Guy in a Cube or new to the live stream, put hashtag new in the chat. We always love seeing the new faces, new people. Always a good time. Also, fair warning, I am Chatmaster C today. So apologies in advance. I'm working on keeping track of everything and whatnot. So Chatmaster C is on her way back home. We had to take our youngest daughter. We think she has an ear infection, so she had to go take care of that. So, but yeah, conferences real quick, Patrick. Where are we going to be at? Because we've got a schedule now.
Hopefully, right? We're not 100% sure, but we're pretty confident that we'll be at the Power Platform Conference. We don't know what sessions
in September in Orlando.
What we're doing in September in Orlando. We definitely will be in Utrecht for Techorama, and
Netherlands,
Belgium, Netherlands. Yep, and then Belgium for Data Minds.
Data Minds
in
Connect.
Belgium for Data Minds.
That's
Data Minds
Mr. Benny's part of that conference. Benny's in the chat. So if you want to learn more about Data Minds Connect, definitely go to that dataminds.be website. We'll get you to the main site.
So if we're not at Data Minds, it's Benny's fault. So you guys talk to
blame Benny.
And we submitted some sessions for Past Summit, which I got to tell you, I'm most excited. Like I love going to Belgium, to Data Minds, to get all the great grill food and all the beer, but. Past Summit is just near.
We did wait at Data Minds. The last Data Minds we went to, we had chocolate tasting with beer. That was magical.
Oh, bananas! It was bananas.
Magical.
It was bananas.
It was great.
And then Past Summit is near and dear to my heart, and so I hope I've already reserved my hotel.
I need to do that. Patrick had an amazing idea of like, let's just book the hotel now, and I'm like, yes, because it always sells out. I want to be right next to the convention center in Seattle.
Past Data Summit. So please let us know if we are. I like what Paul's saying. Past Data community people, please let us know if we're selected. I've already booked my travel, so I hope we get selected there. So it's pretty fun. We got some pretty fun stuff coming up. And actually, right, this is not a conference, but I'm really excited about what's about to happen next week. We get to go and hang out with our team, and I get to see so many people.
Week after next.
Week after next.
A week from tomorrow, we fly out to Seattle again.
Yeah. And so I'm crazy excited about this. I'm crazy excited about this. Anyway, there you go, Adam.
Awesome. So real quick, Lucas said that he stayed up finally to see the live stream, but he's got to go because he's been up since 4 a.m. last night solving some DAX problems. He's new.
All right,
Thanks for being here. Get some sleep. Yeah. Love it. All right. Sheila's asking when is PASS. It's November
16th, 17th, 15th, something in the teens, right?
Yeah.
Or is it earlier than that?
Oh my gosh.
It is 15th through the 18th.
Yes, 15th through the
15th through the 18th.
Yes. Yep. Oh my gosh. You had me have to go to the answer for all things, which is Bing. Yes. Oh, all right. So some of the new folks here. So we already had Lucas. So welcome, Lucas. Yep. And good night. Let's see, where did it start? I gotta find it.
I like this comment by Gabriella. Talk to Adam about that, Gabriella. Please talk to Adam.
That's an Adam thing. All right. So we'll get to that. Mike is new. Randall's new. Ramon is new. Tayshawn is kind of new. Second time watching, first time live. Awesome. Love it. Let's see here. Stefan is new. Arnab is new from India. Welcome.
Welcome.
There are a bunch of other news here. Yeah, we got Lucas. Munash is new. Any others I missed? I think I got them all. All right, go me. Yay. All right, I gotta remember to do my Chatmaster C thing and make sure I get all the questions. And see, there was one that I missed. Cool. I got it all. Cool. Thankfully, I can filter in my tool here, so that's good. Yeah, no videos last week. Last week was a mess. There was a lot going on from a day job perspective and other stuff, and so I just held the videos. and we'll get it. We'll be back on track next week. So it was all me. Patrick had no say in that at all. So yeah.
It was a mess of a week. Yes,
it was a mess of a week. It was a hard week for me. I'm just gonna tell you that. Yeah. Patrick knows.
The end
Patrick
of my
knows
week
it was a hard week.
The end of my week became really, really nice because of Adam. So thank you so much, Adam.
Patrick's comment towards the end of the week, he's like, "Wait a second, you just got rid of all my stuff. Like I don't have. You took everything away from me." I'm like, "Yes, I did." Anyway, all right. Alejandro's new also. Welcome, Alejandro. All right. Shout out to all the members of Guy in a Cube. You help us do what we do here on Guy in a Cube, so thank you so much for that. We always love the support that you provide. It just makes our hearts warm, and we love it. So thank you for that. Thank you for that. If you see folks with a green name or the Guy in a Cube logo next to their name, those are the members of Guy in a Cube. You can learn more with the link on the screen, or down below you can see the join button to learn more. No commitment required. Just thanks for checking it out. Yeah. Kooky. Yeah. I guess we all kind of have that kind of week. Yeah, last week was one of those weeks. So we're getting back on track. We're gonna get back on track.
Yep.
All right. So thank you to the members. Members, hold your questions until the second half. I will let you know when to submit the questions. Chatmaster C may be back by the halfway mark, so she can get back in control of those things and not let me do it. All right. What else am I missing? Patrick? I think
that's it.
Did we do everything?
I think you did a great job.
Yep. No. Rules. We got to cover the rules. Q colon.
Oh.
Get a Q colon in front of your question to get them queued up. One time is all you need. I am standing by to get your question queued. That's right. I am at the helm today. It will be magical, and there will be no issues. So yes, please Q colon in front of the question. Get it queued up. Otherwise, I'm not going to. Especially, I'm filtering on Q colon. So if I don't see it there, it's not getting queued. One time's all you need.
No
though.
Stinking rules. You don't need no stinking rules.
That's
Adam.
fine. That's fine. So if you don't follow the rule and you spam your question, we have a 3 strikes rule here on Guy in a Cube. So one of our lovely moderators and/or myself, definitely not Patrick, will put you in a timeout. No. And so you don't want that. So please don't do that.
No.
So yes, yeah. Matthew's also not here. So I think he's adjusting to his new time zone on the East Coast. He moved, so yeah. So and then all right, I think we are good. So Q colon, and then we'll get it rolling. And oh, look at that! Chatmaster C just came upstairs. Everyone is saved. Yay! And the crowd goes wild. Yay! She's got to set up though. So, but you only have to deal with me for maybe another few minutes. All right. Let's do this. Are you ready, Patrick?
I'm ready.
All right. First up, Matthias, back in first place, right in the beginning. I've missed you, sir. For a price index, I had to explain what a price index was to Patrick.
You have to search it on the internet.
He's like, what's a price index? I just started reading the actual official definition. He's like, thanks for that. Thank you. All right, so for a price index, I need a measure which filters for a selected month only those products which had sales in each individual month of the rolling 12-month period. How would you write that? All right, we're going to break this down. I have questions for you, Matthias, because there is not enough detail or context in this question for us to really answer this. So one thing I will say is you mentioned you want a price index. So for me, that tells me that we want to get, what the price was for that given rolling range, or whatever range that you're going after. It could be 3 months, could be 6 months, could be 12 months. And for me, that price is on a specific product. But you said products, plural. And I'm curious why that doesn't make sense to me, because products, they're going to have various prices, right? And so you could have like a pair of socks and a bike, and those are going to be radically different prices. And so I'm curious why. Maybe that's a normal thing from a from a retail perspective, I don't know. But my thing, yeah. But the thing, Matthias, though, is you're saying you want products that have continuous sales. You're looking at a given month range, right? And so we're saying, okay, sales for that given month. And so typically for a price index, I would think like we're doing some sort of average, rolling average of those items. And so like, what was that range within that given rolling period? And so that question, that part of the question doesn't make sense to me is kind of what I'm getting at there is I don't understand what your goal is in like what the end result, what the question is that you're trying to answer. Because if it was for sales, then sure, like we could just go and total up the sales for whatever given products in that given month over a 12-month period and do rolling. So that's another piece of it. Yeah, Matthias,
inflation.
I get that. Where I'm getting caught up is you're saying multiple products within that given period, and I don't understand, like, so that's just one piece of it. The end result of this is, look, you're looking for a value within a given month over a rolling 12-month period, right? And so figure out what that calculation is for whatever that value is that you're going after. Just look at a single month, right? And look at what that, you're going to have a measure for that, right? So that could be an average, it could be a mean, a median, like whatever that is. You could have that. And then you're just going to apply rolling 12-month period over that, right? And so you can go over to DAX Patterns. There's a bunch of great stuff there that will show you how to do the 12-month period pieces. And so once you figure out what that base measure is, then just apply it over the 12-month period.
And then you can put it in a calculation group.
Yeah, calculation.
Then you put it in a calculation group, and you select
Yes.
a measure. Then you can apply it over all your measures. And
Yes.
I had found a blog post. The rolling 12-month one, I'll put it in the chat. Alberto, it's great to do the rolling 12 months.
Yeah.
And he even talks about putting it in a calculation group. Not trying, and this is not a cop out, Matthias. This is not. We're not copying out here. It's that there's some gaps in the question that you're asking, and I'm thinking it's a scalar value. I think you're just trying to return a scalar value for the inflation that you're trying to see if that inflation exists. But how to filter out products that are only sold?
Use your relationships.
Calculate the sales for those products.
Wait a second.
Use
So
your
on your fact table for a given sale, it's going to have a link to the products table, right? So that's your filter.
Yeah.
Like only look at the ones that
then,
are coming from the fact table. That's going to filter out the products table.
And then you calculate that and you use it as a filter in that measure.
Right.
It's not that difficult.
Yeah.
Not enough time to do it here on the stream. If you're looking for us to write some DAX and give that to you on the stream, it's definitely not enough time for us to write that because I don't have a model that reflects exactly what you have.
So and we reserve that right for members at the visitor and producer side. You can pre-submit the question, and then we'll go through it. We'll write it out.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
That's something.
Because this seems like a fun one.
Yeah.
I just need some sample data. I need some sample data and some time. This seems like a great video also.
The other thing I was thinking about when Patrick and I were talking about this too is just some of the thought process, because I think that's really what you're after, Matthias, is like we could write it for you, but I don't know that helps you grow in your journey here. And so what Patrick started saying, and then what we were going back and forth is, what's that base calculation that you're going after, right? Write that measure, right? And then you've got the first part. Then the next part's going to be the rolling piece, and then maybe the third part's going to be the calculation group or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And so like break it down into simpler components and then apply those items. The other thing I was looking at I'm like 12 month, like rolling 12 months, like that's like I immediately went to DAX patterns because that's there. And so it's also this piece of being able to take kind of pieces that are out there and bringing them together into the final solution. And so let's use the rolling 12-month pattern and replace it with what your actual value is that you're going after. And so really what you're after is what's that base calculation. That's what you need to write first, and then applying the 12-month is good.
Wait, I did a video with Alberto on consecutive days with no sales, so we just need to do the inverse. Somebody put it in the chat.
I remember that.
So much stuff.
That's when you broke the table.
Oh my God, there's so much stuff out here. I forget about this stuff. But it's an unplugged video that Alberto and I did together.
Did you see Alex's comment?
Days.
Did you see Alex's comment?
What did he say?
He didn't go there.
I'm just gonna let that go. We're just gonna move ahead. Let's go to the next question.
All right.
Let's go
All
to
right.
the next question.
Cool. All right. So thank you for that, Matthias. That was a good discussion. I like that. That was good. All right. New BI. She asks.
I love this question.
If resorting to SharePoint to Power BI, what's the best format model to map the two together? Is it to have a large flat file on SharePoint or duplicate lookup column keys across multiple lists?
I love this question. But we talked about this. How would you do it in a database? And New BI, my assumption is you don't have access to a database, and you're doing everything. She says you remembered.
I did. We talked about that before. I'm like, no, she schooled me last time. I remember.
So I would not flat file anything. But let's go back to let's just step back a little bit. If you're doing it in SharePoint, I'm gonna assume that it's not large volumes of data. So if it's not large volumes of data, I'm going to be honest with you. If you brought this in the Power BI as a flat file and start reporting against it, it'll probably work. But you're not future-proofing your model at this point, because if you do start accumulating a large volume of data, you could run into performance problems with this. You could absolutely run into performance problems with this. And it could be a challenge. So my recommendation is think about how you would do this in a database. I actually have a video that goes from flat file to star schema that you should probably go check out. But the refresh from SharePoint, because I am duplicating things in that to get keys and to create the star schema, it could slow things down in the back end. But for me, it's all about star schema in it. But with the SharePoint, it could be a challenge. Somebody made a good point here about data marts. That would be interesting to do it in a data mart and do the transformations using Power Query and then have a data mart. But you need premium. You need premium to use a data mart. So
yeah, Alex brought up a good question of, is it an actual SharePoint list, or are they files in SharePoint, like a document library, or what specific? I don't know that it necessarily changes the response though, because it's still the same.
Maybe from a performance perspective, would it change it? I don't know. Between
SharePoint list is going to be slower. SharePoint list
Yeah.
will be slower. But I doubt. I'm going to make an assumption that the data volume here is not extreme.
It's just a SharePoint list.
Yeah,
and so New BI, if this is just a SharePoint list with not a lot of data in it, and people are going to say, oh, it's Patrick. Why is Patrick saying a flat file? Flat file is not that terrible. Your refresh is going to be slow regardless because you're going to SharePoint, and doing duplicates of the data to build out the schema in Power Query is just going to slow your refresh down. If it's not a lot of data and the report's responsive and you don't anticipate that it's going to grow to a very large volume of data, flat file it. Yes, I said it. Keep it in a flat file. It's easy for you to manage. It's not a lot of data. Go forth and be great, but go ahead, chat, go and, mock me about flat file, but it'll work.
Yep. All right. Are you good?
I'm good. I'm going to stop.
All right, Darren. If a workspace has 5 users with roles higher than viewer, but some of those 5 shouldn't have access to view a specific report in the workspace, what can be done since RLS doesn't work for those users? The access is done at the workspace level. So if they're in the workspace and they're not at the viewer level, even if they're at the viewer level, they can see the report. You can't control specific reports at that level. So it's workspace, all or nothing. Like even if they're viewer, they're going to see the report. So you can. Now, you can manage permission. So this is interesting. You can manage permissions on a given workspace for a report. So here, let me go to my machine. I was actually playing with this the other day.
I would manage the permissions for a report.
Because it used to be you could do. My microphone arm is like right in the way of this monitor. I'm looking through the space in my microphone arm. So here on the report, you can come down to manage permissions on the report. And so you can look at like direct access and you can see these things here, but I don't know that you can remove. Yeah, because you can add reshare. So I don't know that this actually helps you at all, because it's going to go off of the base workspace permissions. So this is more about sharing than anything else.
But if I take everyone, if I remove all those 5 people from viewer control and I explicitly give them explicitly share those reports with them.
Yeah, but
right?
this is, and Alex brought up a point too, like, oh yeah, that artifact level access is coming with apps. Yes, but the premise of this question is where I'm stuck, because they're like, look, they're above viewer access. So they're contributor or member, which means they have rights to publish content or edit content in this workspace. So my thinking is that these users are, they need to be able to edit like the data model or the report for one of these pieces, but you have other reports and data sets for other things that you don't want them to have access to. And at that point, I'm like, you're gonna have to go with a different workspace at that point.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And
So
the
app piece isn't gonna help you. So
yeah.
Yeah, because if your goal is they need to be able to edit content, then I mean they have to have workspace access, so the app can't be used, and then it's you can't really separate those. So yeah. Yep. So I don't know if that helps you at all, Darren. Based on just my understanding of it, you're gonna have to go with different workspaces if that's your scenario. All right, Igor. Let's talk upstream and downstream. Roach's maximum.
Love it.
Is it okay to do almost everything in SQL and only some count rows, etc. in DAX? I think yes. What are your thoughts?
Oh, yes. Let Power BI do the aggregations depending on the grain. Let Power BI do the aggregations depending on the grain of the data. Go ahead. I see your little finger. Are you going to do this? Hi. Are you going to do this now?
It depends. It depends. So, there are scenarios where it's better to pre-aggregate at the source. Example. We were working with some larger scale data. And so one example we were looking at was like a last year sales number, right? And so at the volume of data we were looking at, it was more performant to pre-calculate that on the SQL side than to let the measure go over all the data on the DAX side.
Sure.
So in that case, I push that back to the source.
Sure.
Right?
Sure. But
Patrick didn't like that.
but at the purest level, if we're just talking about, let's say we're not working on large volumes of data, right? Large volumes of data, big billion rows of data.
That's where it always depends.
Story,
That's
right?
where all the it depends
right?
comes.
It depends. But if we're just talking, hundreds of millions of rows, yes, count some, do it in DAX, but you have to think about your grain. You have to think about the grain of the data, because if I do counts and aggs back in my model and I don't have keys, then the aggregations are going to be really difficult. If I do all the aggregations back in the source, when I come to Power BI, now I'm going to run into some different challenges with those aggregations because it's already aggregated down to those levels. Then how do I use my slicers to slice and dice and do different types of aggregation? So yes, it depends. I'm not disagreeing with you. Yes, it absolutely depends. But you got to think about, when you come up to Power BI. So yeah, it depends. I can't argue with you there.
Like there's opportunities where you could push it back. Pre-calculate.
Okay.
All right. And then Alex had a whiteboard suggestion for you.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
What did he say?
Yeah, that's one.
I didn't see it.
I'm leaving it up there so you can read it. So
I'm still surprised.
He's talking about the paginating
most
report
people
visual.
don't use Power BI. Interesting, Alex.
Yes.
Okay.
And then Sandeep, you're saying like you can't pre-aggregate everything. No, absolutely not. But there's opportunities where it may make sense. And so that was the question. The original question. Let me go back to the original question. I got rid of the original question. Sorry. No, I didn't. It's right
Yes,
here.
Stewie, this is a really good
Right.
question.
The
Stewie.
original
This is a
question
great
was
question.
do everything in SQL and then only the aggregations in the DAX side. And the answer there is maybe not always. Yes. You're not going to be able to do all of it and push it all back to the source. Like in some cases, it doesn't make sense, especially for some of the slicing and dicing and some of those things. It doesn't work that great. But there are specific opportunities where it will. So yeah. All right. Okay. Are we good? You good?
We can talk about this all day. All
right. Sandeep's got a two-part question here. I am executing REST API to fetch Power BI dataset refreshes in Python. Oh boy, this is a Patrick question. And then iterating through API response values to filter records for previous day. In each execution, the count differs. Any idea why it would behave so? So, let's take Python out of the picture. Let's take Python out of the picture. So if you execute the REST API, so like even if I use just the PowerShell commandlet for Power BI, I can execute that REST API, right? And go get the last refresh, right? Or the refresh history.
Yep.
Is the number consistent in that? If the answer is yes, then your script on the Python side is wrong.
There's something going on.
Yeah.
Go. Sorry for cutting you off.
And the other piece of this is, so let's go back to, so filtering records for the previous day. And so the piece there is, so I would say, look, if I run this today and I'm looking at yesterday's refreshes, I get a count, right? So I've got a count of, let's say there were 5 refreshes yesterday. And you're saying if you run it again, it now says like 4 or 6. Then I'm like, well, wait a second. I mean, yesterday's done, so why would that change? So that's where I want to go back to the REST API output itself and see, like, is that consistent? Because if it's not consistent, then I open up a support case. Like, I would look at the raw output of the API. That should be consistent from that perspective, right? And then past that, you're going to go over to the Python code. Maybe there's some issue there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, that's great. That's great, Adam. So the hat was causing sound problems, so that's why I'm not wearing the hat anymore. So people asked about the hat from last week. It was muffling my
So if
audio,
you had a microphone like mine, that wouldn't be an issue.
And then, we pretty much don't have any idea about Python. That's absolutely correct. We don't.
No. But it's not about Python, right? Wait, did someone say that?
I know.
Did someone say that?
Yeah, the no idea. We should have a no idea jar.
Oh, no idea. Well, but my thing. So look, I'm a developer at heart. I don't care if it's Python, C#, C++, whatever, JavaScript. I don't care, right? It's just code, right? And so you're iterating through it. There's going to be some sort of if. There's going to be some sort of loop. There's going to be some sort of variable involved. I don't care about that, right? So check your code, check the source, validate the source. Is it right? How many times, Patrick, have we gotten on a call where the customer's like, DAX is screwed up or Power BI is wrong? And I'm like, well, what's the data? Oh, we're missing a value there. Yeah, go check your data.
Yeah.
Like, check the data, validate the data. Is the data right? Because if the data's right, then yes, something's wrong on the Power BI side. If the data's wrong, so if the data's wrong, then from the REST API, then the issue's on Power BI. But if it's right,
I know.
Go
He's saying it's not about Python. He just said Python for completeness.
I know.
We really don't know anything about Python, though. That Python video I did, that was the extent of my Python. That was it. Right.
It's just code, man. Whatever. It's just code. I like code. Code doesn't lie. Code doesn't lie. You may have bad code, but the code doesn't lie.
Yeah.
By design does not equal good design. So, all right. We are at the halfway mark. So Chatmaster C has cleared the queue. Members, get your questions in. We are going into member-only chat. So apologies, we didn't get through a whole lot of non-member questions. We had some good discussions. Sorry about that. We will be back next week, so come back again and ask again. We never get to all the questions, so apologies on that. Depending on the member section, maybe we'll push back. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. So members, get your questions in. Anyone that's not a member, you can still watch the stream, still learn all the great stuff, but you will not be able to participate in the chat. Super chats always take priority. So if you do a super chat, just make sure that you put your question in. That will get you ahead of the queue and into it. And then members and moderators are free to participate. Alrighty, let's do it. And right now, there are only 2 member questions in the queue, so get your question in if you got
3.
something.
Yes, there's 3. There's 3.
Now there's 3.
Now.
Now there's 3.
Yeah.
Yes. Chewy, we have cookies. Yes.
We got 10 minutes to cover each one. We got 10 minutes to cover each one.
All right, let's do this. Let's yes.
Oh, no, there's 4. There's 4.
Paul mentioned they're going to do a sequel Saturday on November. Oh, that's in combination with Pass. That's the Vancouver sequel Saturday. I did that one year. That was fun. And that's usually where they do the bus, data bus, or the bus, the Pass bus, or train,
Okay.
not bus, train.
That.
The train ride.
We have to think about it.
The train ride. The train ride. I've never done the train ride, but I did go to my 2016 Pass video. It has a little bit of the Vancouver. The Washington Vancouver, not the Canada Vancouver.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
All right. Going to or Portland, not Vancouver, Portland. But it's, I don't know which one it is. It's the same. They're right there next to each other. It's
Yeah, I've ridden the train between Portland before.
Yeah.
I've ridden that train. That's a nice train.
Yeah,
That's a nice train.
Yeah, it's in that general vicinity. It was beautiful though.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful day too. It was gorgeous. It was great. All right. Going to the queue. Tom. Exactly, Scott. It's all the same. It's all the same. It's not the Canadian one. That's the main point. All right. Tom, I have a measure which converts a dollar value to a foreign currency. Okay. When I add the foreign currency symbol using format, it becomes a text field. It doesn't sort properly. How do I get around that? That's a known issue, if I understand correctly.
But can't you do this in calculation groups?
Yeah, but the challenge is the format string. When you apply the format string, it converts it to a text. It converts the data type to text. I think that's a known thing. I want to say it's a known thing.
Sort with currency.
No, it's not about that.
Okay.
It's about the data type, right? So when you, because the challenge is the minute you put it's a text format, not a number format, so it's going to sort it by, it's not the same. So yes, calculation groups. Everyone.
Yeah, so that's what.
Yes.
But it's the calc group format, not format. The calculation group format. It's different.
What?
Yeah, that thing that
Yes.
Fernando just put in there.
Yes.
So when you do that, I think that works with the sort.
One of
I'm
the
gonna have to go
issues.
try it.
One of the issues converts it back to a text string, and that's a known thing. I thought it was the format string on the calculation group specifically that did that.
I'm like, Chris, they got this fixed. Okay. So who's this? Who is this? Axel? Tom, let me go do some research on this, Tom, let me go do some research on this because it should work. I
thought it was
we got
fixed
this
too.
all figured out.
I thought it was fixed too.
I think they got this sort. But he's trying to use format in the DAX. Format does convert it to a string.
Oh, don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm talking about in the calculation group. You got to do this.
It's a property on the model.
What's his name? Burnett? I think it's Burnett who does. I think Burnett's got a blog post on this.
Someone-
I do.
someone
about
mentioned-
Marco Alberto.
Someone
One
said
of them.
go. Fernando said go Burnett.
He's my calculation. I read all his blogs on calculation.
Not
groups,
not
so.
in calculation groups. Yes. Okay. Cool. I think we're sorted on that. Excellent.
Yeah.
All
See,
right.
it works. But Tom, let me look at it. I wrote it down.
Yes.
Tom.
Yes. There was like a known thing there. I thought they fixed it with calculation groups, and then there was some oddity there. Okay. All right.
Even Paul's saying if Paul says it.
Yes.
If Paul
I
literally
thought they
says
fixed it. I thought they fixed it.
Yeah.
So I know it was an
Yeah.
issue a while back, like when it first came out. Okay.
Yeah.
Because our friend Micah was complaining to me about the same thing.
Yes. Yep.
So okay. I invoked Micah's name, so he should show up in the chat now. Okay, so Alex had an interesting question for Patrick.
I have no
can't put
idea.
it on screen though because of the thing. It doesn't show up on vMix side. So he said, Patrick, trying to filter unit price above median values. Source a SQL server, so can't break the fold and can only use a single query. Help.
I'll see you in a couple of weeks, Alex. I'll see you in a couple of weeks. I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Just write. I can write a T-SQL query that does that for you. I can write a T-SQL query that does that for you.
All right. I can't pronounce this name. Why I cannot bind a Power Query parameter with a slicer? This only works in direct
easy.
query. I create this. This question this comes up every once in a while. This only works in direct query. I created the parameter, but didn't put them in the M code. Trying to bind them first, but I didn't have the option.
Nope. It's got to be in the M code, and it's got to be direct query.
Here's the
It's got to
challenge.
be in the. It's got to be in the.
So the parameter, it's a Power Query parameter. It's not a DAX parameter. It applies only when the Power Query is executed. So if we're doing import, that's only when refreshing. It's not on execution of the report or the execution of a DAX query. So it only happens when you refresh the data set of when that will get applied. So it's never going to be usable. Well, from an import perspective, it's never going to be usable from a DAX perspective. Now, the difference here is when we're starting to use like M parameters, and then you can use it from a modeling perspective if we're doing direct query, or you could take advantage, like if you're using SAP, you've got the SAP variable stuff, and then that becomes a little different. But for import, like it's only at the data set. So not going to work.
And so you got to put it in. You got to put it in the M code, and it's got to be direct query.
Yep.
Not gonna work.
Yep.
He's been posting that question a lot. I saw that question come up like 2 times. Yep.
Oh.
In the chat. And then somebody said save it for the member queue. I think Crystal Chatmaster C said just save it for the member queue.
All right, Fernando.
Got a video on that. Got a video on that.
Do we?
Yep. Yes. We have a video on dynamic M parameters. I have 2.
I don't care about that. I'm talking about the question they asked, though, with the import. We don't have a video on that.
Well, you can't do it.
I know. But we gotta educate folks. That's what videos are for.
Yes. That's what the videos are for.
Okay. All right.
A lot of the videos are for me to just remember how to do
I know,
stuff.
because we gotta go back and like, oh yeah, got something there. All right, Fernando. When is the page navigation button going to allow us to select which hidden pages we want to show in the page navigator? No idea. No idea. Ideas.powerbi.com.
I don't know. I remember they did the
Yeah.
Go.
No, you go.
Go.
I'm gonna diverge into something else. So
I remember they did a at MBAS last year or whenever MBAS was. They showed this really cool feature for page navigation. I'm still waiting for that.
I'm
one.
still waiting
So,
for it. I'm still waiting for it. Yes. Wait, Scott, you didn't beat Alex because you can't put links in the chat, so we never saw it. Sorry, buddy. We'll go with it though. I totally believe you beat Alex because I beat Alex one time and I got the screenshot.
No, you didn't.
I got the screenshot.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Yes.
No, you didn't.
Scott,
No, you
you
didn't.
won.
No, you didn't.
You win.
He said, "Ouch."
I'm on team Scott. I'm on team Scott.
No, I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Scott's my Kerberos buddy.
Nobody's gonna know.
I'm on team Scott.
Nobody's
it's like
gonna know.
Kerberos. It just
Nobody's
works.
Gonna know. Nobody's gonna know because we can't see it. Nobody's gonna know. Nobody's gonna know.
This is bananas.
All right. So what I was going to do is go back to the previous question on the whole parameter thing.
Yeah.
So that needs to be an it depends. Right? Because it's different between direct query and import. Like there are options in direct query where you can actually use that from the Power BI side, from the report side of it, like or at least the modeling side of it.
What makes it depends? I'm not convinced.
Because you can reference those parameters from like dynamic M parameter perspective.
For direct query only.
Yes. But this was the confusion of the question.
It doesn't depend. You only can do this if it's in M or it's direct query. There's
Therefore,
nothing else.
it
You can't do
depends
anything else.
in what you're doing into where it can be used.
Nope.
That's why that's the definition of it depends.
It doesn't depend.
Kevin,
You
help me
can't.
out. Kevin, help me out.
Nope. Not doing it. Kevin, $1 today. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Kevin has the final say on it. Kevin has the final say.
All right, Kevin.
All right.
All right. Okay. There you go. There you go. There you
Chat
go.
Master C.
All right.
Hey,
Kevin.
it's Guy in a
All
Cube
right,
money,
Kevin.
so it's both of our monies. Wyatt, thank you for the
Wow,
super
Wyatt.
chat, man.
Wow.
Funding the It Depends fund. Look
Wow.
at that. Look at that.
So, Kevin, you need to add that.
Yeah, you got to
need
add
that
25.
to your-
It Depends fund.
to your total.
He directed that.
Yeah. I don't have 25 ones left. I only have like 5.
So it makes it
today,
27
so I
for
can't add 20.
today. That totally
Yeah,
skews
yeah.
the report.
Oh, jeez.
All right. Moving on. Let's see here. 27. There you go. Bam. All right. Is it possible to change the Power BI desktop data sources? Same data and table structure with PowerShell.
Yeah. There's a REST API to update the. Wait. Wait.
Yeah, that's got all sorts of challenges with it. You can update, so if it's like a SQL source, you can update the SQL source with the connection string, right? So the server database, the credentials for that data source. But if you're actually, it's the data source itself is defined from an M script perspective, and so I don't know that you can actually swap out.
But I can update the data source connection, the details of the data source connection.
Yes.
I can do that. So I can update the data source type, the connection details. The thing is going to be the credential, though. The credential is what's going to be,
You
I
do
think,
the credential,
challenge.
but it's also limited to certain sources. Like it's not every source. That's the other challenge. So it depends.
God dog it. Sure is. No, I can't argue with you there. I cannot argue with you
So
there.
the parameterize, so James brought up parameterize your data source and then change the parameter. So that works for like the server name, the database name. It doesn't help you with credentials, and it doesn't help you if you want to move from like a SQL server to like an Oracle server or Snowflake or something like that. It doesn't
Whoa.
help you on that front.
And then if you create
Yes.
the data set with an XML endpoint, it's not supported either.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Alex threw out the whole hot swap external tool, but doesn't that swaps out the
Yeah.
data set though? That's not the data source, right? What is?
Well, doesn't it go from local to, so once I bring it, I can go to a local data model and then go to the one that's
Right, but it's
back in
changing out the
service.
data set, not the data source.
Yes.
Right.
Not the data
So you've
source.
already
Yeah, it's
defined the
set.
data. Yeah, that's data set. That's not data source. So that's a potential, but that's not exactly what the question was asking.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Kevin.
Okay.
That is true. Okay. So yeah. So I think that's where we're kind of at with that. Yeah, if you want to change out the sort, yes, you can have a different data set and then swap the data set out. Yes, absolutely, 100%. That can absolutely do that for you. But yeah, the actual swapping out the data
But
sources
then-
is way more challenging. if you want to do it in the existing data set. I agree. Doing a different data set is swap out the data set. It's an easier approach. It's easier. Okay. Yee.
Man, these have been some great questions today. Wow, today has been a phenomenal
All right,
discussion.
Can a parameter in Power BI to switch schema name from dev to prod? But yeah, so that goes back to what we were just saying, right? So you can have a parameter. Well, yes, you can.
Ooh, yes.
Yes.
Because in the object itself, if you can reference, you could do that.
Yes.
You could do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we talked about using it for like the server name and the database name, but you can reference the table name. You'd have to get a little creative with it, but yes, you can do it. Now, where you may get into some issues there is potentially there could be like some sort of concatenation, or there could be like validation challenges on the Power Query side of it. So you'd have to play around with it. I haven't tried to do that specifically. But I could envision there's like some sort of validation trap on a Power Query.
That would be if that works, that would be a good video. That would be a good video. Because we always talk about the database and the server. We always parameterize. We assume that environments are, I have this server for development, I have this server for tests, I have this server for production. But what if within my data warehouse, I have different schemas, a test schema, a prod schema, a dev schema. I'm not recommending you do this. Don't put prod on a server where you're doing development and testing. Don't do that. But if I could switch schemas, oh wow, that would be amazing.
So Paul brought up an item of using a parameter and then using deployment pipelines with a configured action. The challenge there is that's premium only. So if you're not using premium, that's not even an option. But yes, I absolutely agree. You can do that with deployment pipelines for sure.
I'm going to try.
Absolutely.
I'm going to try.
Absolutely.
I'm going to try.
Okay. You should try, Patrick. I don't know why you didn't think about trying.
No. Because that'd be a good video.
I don't disagree. All right, Kevin coming in with a member for 25 months. Thank you, Kevin. Chewy will be the It Depends auditor for the next 2 weeks. He'll be out. All right. Well, enjoy.
Yeah.
Enjoy. Of note, so we'll be doing a live stream next Saturday, but the Saturday after that we won't because I'll be traveling back from Seattle. I'll be on a plane.
Okay.
I'll be on a plane. Patrick will already be back home, but he doesn't do this on his own. So
No, not even going to try.
So yeah. All right. Chris Wagner coming in with a tech question, because that's what we do here on Guy in a Cube. Is the Rodecaster Pro 2 worth it, or do you have a different sound mixer that you recommend? So I use the Go XLR and the Go XLR Mini cross-connected. So does Patrick. There's a new device out there, the Beacon, which I definitely recommend checking out. It's more software-based, but that's kind of the newer version, which is pretty cool. So those are the ones. I've not used the Rodecaster Pro 2. That's more of a hardware, like an actual real like hardware mixer, which a lot of people use. It's more complicated, I think. So yeah, that's my thought. Patrick, what do you think?
Yeah. I use a mic that's right there and a mixers that's over there and whatever stuff that Adam sends to my house.
Yes. All right, cool. Will's got a question.
That I mess up all the time. I mess up my volumes and I mess it up all the time.
I don't mess mine up.
Yep. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
What the French toast?
So I can do that with the Go XLR. You know what hasn't shown up in a long time? The voice.
Oh no. No.
Anyway. That was for Alex. So Will's got a question. Connecting to Kevin, thank you for becoming a member. Glad to have you aboard. Connecting to multi-dimensional models and analysis services a lot lately. I'm so sorry, Will. I'm so sorry. Although Chris Webb would applaud you. You did some videos a few years back on this. I'm wondering if there's anything new here to leverage Power BI reporting. No, there's nothing new on the multi-dimensional side. At least I don't think. I think they did like there were some small updates, like some fixes and maybe some smaller
optimizations. I think there were some small optimizations too.
Yeah, but nothing major on the multidimensional side.
Yeah. But SSAS, no, Chris, don't do it.
Encourage
Chris.
him.
Don't do it.
Use the voice.
Anyway, for 2022 SQL Server, is it 2022? I guess it's 2022. Tabular models, right? They've enabled composite models, so you can do composite models with tabular models on-prem. So
yes, not multidimensional though.
Not multidimensional.
Not multidimensional. Yeah,
Why
so
would you do anything
nothing.
multidimensional?
They're still there. They're still valid for a lot of cases. Especially if they've been there for a long time, they still work.
Yeah.
It's just there's not been a lot of updates on that front. So.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, Benny.
Yeah,
the
Benny.
interleaving. The query interleaving.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And yes, Thomas, Excel does issue MDX queries to tabular. If you're doing like analyze in Excel, so that's all some of the super DAX stuff. Like it can translate some of those things. Yep. Excellent. All right, Mark. I'm noticing a new for me error in desktop. Cyclic reference in Power Query. I generally just go back to Power Query and pass through the steps, and it works. Is there a way to proactively avoid this? I've not seen that.
I haven't seen that error.
When you say generally, when you go back to Power Query and pass through the steps, you mean you just click on the steps and then it goes away? That's weird. I don't know what the
What's the
steps are
source?
doing.
But I don't know.
I don't think the source doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So, so you just click on the steps, so it's going to validate those steps again, and then the error goes away. That's weird. Maybe there was some update that maybe there was an update that caused where you just got to cycle back through. I don't know. I've not. Yeah, Alex, I agree. That's a weird. If it happens consistently, like especially if you have a repro, that would be great to know. So, Mark, if you do have a repro, send it to us, please. Kevin said he gets it sometimes, and just try the refresh again, and it works. So maybe it's like some sort of transient error. I don't know. All right, Abigail came in with a super chat. Also, Chris, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that.
Thanks, Chris. No voice.
So he said use the voice. That's what he said.
No voice.
Oh. All right, Abigail. Can I use a button to clean two bookmarks? I don't know what that means. What is clean?
To get rid of the bookmark. I'm guessing clean
you can
means
reset.
get rid of them.
Well, so
Yeah.
yes. So it's not that you're cleaning up or resetting the bookmarks. What you're doing is you're selecting a third bookmark that doesn't have those other two selected, right? So you're just use the button to change to another bookmark. That's basically goes back to a default state. So you have to have the bookmark already that's that default state that you want to go back to that effectively cleans out the other two. But then, yes, just switch to that third bookmark. But there's not an actual, like, reset the bookmarks. So can't do that. Right? Right? Yes? Do you disagree? No.
I agree. I
You
agree.
Okay, cool. That's a good question, though.
Yeah,
all right.
that's a good question.
The last question in the queue. We got 4 minutes. Can you do a Borg voice? I can try, Tom. I can try.
No, please.
I can try.
Please.
Oh, and Abigail, thank you for becoming a member also. Very nice. Thank you.
Please.
Yeah, Abigail, if you want to give some more
voices.
context there, happy to entertain it. All right. What type of license do I need to have to add a Power BI report in a company's website? This is an it depends. So you're embedding.
No argument from me there. No
There's
argument from me there.
there's different items, different licenses you can use for embedding. So it depends how you're going to embed. Hey Alex, there's a doc out there that shows on the embedding side of like which ones offer which options. If you can grab that. So in general, if you're doing general embedding, you're going to want to go with like Power BI embedded, and there are specific Power BI embedded SKUs, the A SKUs that you can use for hosting that to external people that know nothing about Power BI, but you want to have that report. If it's your company's website, though, and then you want it internal, then users are going to log in. And so there you have some options. They can have pro licenses, and if they have a pro license, they can consume the report. Or you can back it with premium capacity, the P SKUs, and then you can enable that from a internal perspective as part of that. So, yeah.
Could we use secure embed?
You can, but those licensing items that I mentioned for the internal company, so either pro licenses, PPU licenses for each individual, or backed by premium capacity, applies in that scenario as well. But yes, you could.
Yeah.
Could, absolutely.
Yeah. And
absolutely.
So the thing that I want to point out, I did a video on this a while ago. Adam and I were at some conference somewhere, and somebody said in their SharePoint site, they did publish to web, and they used publish to web to embed in their SharePoint site. And they said, it's secure because only people in my organization can access that SharePoint site. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Only people in your organization can access that SharePoint site. But that report is still publicly available. So if someone gets access to that URL, they can access that report. And if you have sensitive company information in that report, voila, they have access to that sensitive
Paul's bringing up that
information.
they mentioned that it's not, data's not sensitive, but it's a question of, do you want it publicly available?
Yeah.
Like publish to web is always scary. Yes, it's anonymous access, but it's anonymous access and it can be discovered. So careful.
But I go with Benny's comment. Benny just put a comment. If it's public data on a public website, publish to web is, it works.
I like Benny's comment.
It works.
Yeah, because they mentioned company website, which inherently, like, I don't know if that means like an internal portal or external. So those are things to consider as well, right? So it depends. It depends.
I put it in there. You're right. It depends. I can't argue. I cannot argue with you there.
So, yes. Be careful with publish to web, though. That is dangerous. Also, Abigail made the comment of just saying that we've helped Abigail a lot. Started by myself from zero, and now I got a better job. Love hearing that. That is amazing. I love that. Love it. Love it. Love it.
Can we just answer Kevin's question? I know it's or at least talk about it because I don't know what he means.
Sure. Kevin, can we expect conditional formatting for field parameter measures? Conditional for field parameter. Measure. Is that the new field thing?
When And so when I add, so Kevin, when I add a measure as one of those parameters, I can't apply conditional formatting. That's my assumption. I haven't tried this because I'm struggling with my video because everybody's exhausted every idea on field parameters, and I still haven't done one. And so I'm just trying to see what you're talking about here.
I list calculated measure formatting going for direct Azure to AS to shared data set for direct. Okay.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means.
Interesting. Yes. He said yes.
Okay. Kevin, I got to try it. I haven't tried that. I haven't tried conditional formatting on field parameters.
Yep.
But we'll find out.
All right. I'm going to get, so Yi had a question in there as well.
I skipped Yi. So sorry, Yi.
You skipped Yi.
I didn't mean to skip Yi.
But that's okay. That's all right. Let's grab it. We'll grab it. I think it'll be quick. When data, by the way, data marts does not have a space in it, just pet peeve on my end. All right. That's just me being nitpicky.
Oh, jeez.
No space in data mart for the feature name. When data mart could be turned on at workspace level. So today it's an all or nothing. It's either on or it's off for the tenant. And one thing I will point out is data flows is also the same. So I don't know that it will change. I don't know. If that's something you're interested in, I would definitely go to ideas.powerbi.com and vote it up. I don't have any knowledge about anything that's going to change there. So, what are you laughing at?
Tom G said, data space, capital mark. Got it.
I see you, Tom. Yes, Power BI Data Marts does not have a space. Thank you. Oh my god.
I still want to go back to Kevin. Kevin, I'm going to look into this. And somebody said, I think Kerbal has a hack on it. I don't know if Thomas is talking about your question, but yeah. I'm going to look to see.
Pretty sure he's not talking about E's question because there's not a hack for that.
Okay. So, all right.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah. Just like data flows doesn't have a space in it. Although now that's probably going to be a thing. All right.
Oh, boy.
All right. All right. We are at the end of the hour. Patrick, any words of wisdom before we head out?
Hey, I think I say this a lot. I was thinking about this earlier. Take a break from work. Take a break from work. I know we all love to write DAX and build reports and learn all about the new Power BI and Data Mart and data set stuff, but it's the weekend. I'm going to go fire up my grill and have a beer. So you should do the same.
Oh. Power Query with no space. Data set with a space. Oh. I love all of you. You never fail to bring it. I love it. All right, everyone. Have a great week. We will see you next Saturday. And we will have videos this week. We will have it.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
I'm ready to absorb you, feeding all your triggered lies. My ignorance defines you. The roof is gonna cave in, roaring with some dinosaurs, so caught up in the moment. 20-something seconds go